So, in this video I'm going to explain to you section 2 of chapter 7. Section 2 is about tangent, and I'm going to tell you what we mean by tangent. In section 1 we saw this formula. The gradient of angle A can be calculated by height divided by distance. But instead of gradient of angle A, you can also say tangent of angle A is equal to height divided by distance. So it's this way just another word. In Dutch, je kan natuurlijk zeggen het hellingsgetal van hoek A, maar in plaats van hellingsgetal van hoek A, gaan we gebruiken de tangens van hoek A. In English, the tangent of angle A. When you take a look at your calculator, you see also on your calculator a button saying 10 for tangent. And we're going to use this button. But before we're going to start with some examples, I'm going to show you some important rules. So the first rule is your calculator must be set to degrees. And you can check this at the top of your calculator screen. It should say D for degrees. Second rule, always round angles to whole degrees, because we're going to calculate some angles, and this is just something we agreed on, that we always round angles to whole degrees. Third rule, one of the most important ones in this chapter, pay close attention to your notation. You do have a book of solutions, and you can exactly see how you need to write down these calculations, so use it. Then 4 and 5. Do you know the angle and you want to calculate the gradient? Then we have to use the tangent button on your calculator. But the other way around, when you do know the length of the sides and you want to calculate the angle, then we have to use tangent to the power of -1. And you can activate this by first using the shift button on your calculator. If you first push shift and then tangent, in your screen you will see in your display, you will see tangent to the power of -1. So those two rules are really important. I'm going to give you an example of those two situations. Using tangent. And over here we see the formula again. And you always need this formula, so make sure you have it ready. So, because we are going to use this formula, we are going to use it with this triangle, and it's a right angle triangle. And I have a lot of information. So let us first use this formula, and we're going to calculate the tangent of angle R. So, when I'm going to use the formula, I'm going to write it down exactly, and I do not leave anything away. So I'm going to write down tangent, and now I use angle R, because that's the angle in my picture. Then height divided by distance. So 8 divided by 20. And I can calculate 8 divided by 20, and then I will find the tangent of angle R is 0.4. This is what we did before. I'm using the formula to calculate the tangent. In other words, I use the formula to calculate the gradient. And remember, tangent is another word for gradient. So I calculated gradient, and this is not something new, we did that before. But in this picture, we do have the height and we do have the distance. But suppose we didn't have them. Suppose we didn't have this information. And the only thing I knew is the angle. The only thing I know is the angle. Can I still calculate the gradient? In other words, can I still calculate the tangent of angle R? And the answer is yes. So again, I'm going to use the formula. Again, I'm going to fill in everything I know. And that's not much, because I only know the sides of angle R. So make sure you understand what I'm writing down. Tangent of 22 degrees. In other words, the gradient of an angle that is 22 degrees. And at this point, you can use your calculator. because your calculator knows the tangent relation. So, what do you need? You need the tangent button. So, just get your calculator and use tangent 22 and then this button, and then you will find the gradient. In other words, tangent of 22 is 0.4. So you see, you can calculate the gradient of belonging to an angle even without knowing the height and the distance. In our last example, I'm going to show you how you can use the tangent formula to calculate an angle. Because when you take a good look at this picture, I do know the distance, I do know the height, but I know nothing about this angle. By using this formula, we can calculate the angle. So first things first, always take the formula and fill everything in, everything. What you don't fill in, you just copy. So tangent angle A is equal to height divided by distance. And then I can calculate 15 divided by 30. But it's not even necessary, but we can do that. So this is what I know. This is always your first step. Fill in the whole formula. So what I really want to do is I want to calculate the size of angle A. So I want to know what is angle A. So I have to remove the tangent. And we can do this by doing the opposite of tangent. And that's tangent to the power of -1. So this is what I'm going to write down. Tangent to the power of -1 of 0.5. So how do we do this on our calculators? You can do it like this. If I want to use tangent to the power of -1, I have to use the shift button. So first push shift, then tangent, and then you will see in your display tangent to the power of -1, and then 0.5 equal 2. So you will find an answer, but we are calculating an angle. So you have to round it to a whole number. So I'm going to give you a few seconds to calculate angle A. Round it to a whole number. And then if everything went well, you should find angle A is approximately 27 degrees. You can also do it like this, because in this example, this fraction is exactly 0.5. But maybe in some of the other exercises, the solution of the fraction won't be an exact answer. We're not allowed to round. So you can also do it like this, or use, again, tangent to the power of -1, and then, between brackets, you use your fraction, 15 divided by 30. Then you know you're never rounding in between, only at the end. So this was the second example, and I've shown you how you can calculate an angle by using the tangent formula. Make sure you do write down all the steps correctly. So make sure you pay attention to how you write this down. You're not allowed to leave something away, because then your calculation won't be correct. Good luck with your exercises.